Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you again. I'm so glad you've come back because I've got a very special guest today that I've been looking forward to speaking to and finding out more about her art. And this is Jennifer Miles, and she's contributed to the recent exhibition we've had on spirit animals, animals in the Bible. So it's interesting when you dive into the Bible how many animals there are. And Jennifer actually contributed, and I'm so thrilled because she's a very fine artist. She's got a background in illustration. She loves Japanese work. She loves nature and she loves detail. And it's the detail of her work and the design that I find so attractive. So, welcome, Jennifer. I'm so excited to talk to you about this.
Thank you for having me.
So, I just briefly outlined your work, but how would you describe your work as it is today, as we would see in the exhibition?
Well, like you say, detail. When I was being an illustrator, so I did an MA in illustration, children's book, and for many years I was kind of like a pen for hire, and it was fine. I learned a lot and I did love it. But after a while, you kind of have to dash. I was doing not picture books, I was doing sort of line drawings and books for sort of
Okay.
8, 9, 10 year olds. And you
Mm.
kind of have to dash off line drawings. And I was always just longing to go into detail. And it just didn't lend itself to that. So yeah, during COVID, I kind of thought to myself, you know what? I just want to do what I want to do. I just want to give it a go,
Mm.
and just indulge what I love doing rather than what I feel I should be doing for, money or whatever.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I just started drawing portraits of animals. And I call them portraits because in my mind, they quite often have names and
Mhm.
personalities. And I try and catch
Okay.
a moment of interest or drama, but at the
Okay.
same time it's quite decorative, so that it's not like they're sort of flying madly through the air. They're quite poised normally. Yeah, so I love decorative. I love gold.
Yeah.
And I love detail. Yeah, and I love color as well, actually, because again, I was working in black and white for most of my career as an illustrator. So to be able to like buy all my beautiful watercolors and
Mm.
indulge myself in that respect has just been heavenly. I love color now.
So, are you mostly a watercolor artist, or do you use other mediums?
I use watercolor, and like technical pen for the detail. And then I also use gold leaf. I use either 23.75 or 24 carat,
Mm.
because well, it's just lush, isn't it?
No.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
tarnish either. So yeah, so that's what I tend to use. I love Daniel Smith, which is an American watercolor brand, and they do just some really interesting colors. They do all the sort of the main watercolor colors, but they also do a range called Primatech, which is minerals. It's kind of minerals that are all ground up and
Wow.
turned into paint. And oh my goodness, so you can get like amethyst and tiger's eye and all the many semi-precious stones, jadeite, and they grind them all up, and then you can sort of put these amazing minerals onto your painting, lapis lazuli. So I do sometimes incorporate them as well. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and you're an artist after my own heart in that sense because I'd not experienced gold leaf. I'd always been afraid of gold leaf, and I think a lot of people are
Mm.
because it's a skill, but there are obviously techniques and tips that you can learn. But when I first did the first exhibition, the Come Eat With Me exhibition, we used gold leaf. I fell in love. I fell
Mm.
in love with it and I want to explore it myself. And I suddenly burst open with all these ideas. So I
Yeah,
can see that. But you talking about the stones and the minerals, very reminiscent of early paint techniques anyway to create.
exactly. Mm.
But so how does this express itself in terms of cost for you as an artist? And do you receive that back through the pricing of your work? Without giving
Yeah,
too
I
much
would.
away to potential
No, no, no.
clients.
I'm just thinking. I wouldn't like to try and live on my income as an artist. I have to say, I worked hard all my life in sales and earned a reasonable amount of money. So, and then me and my husband started a business. So, I'm now able to kind of indulge myself a little bit.
Mhm.
I always kind of knew I didn't want to be an artist in a garret, sort of shivering, and I always thought, no, I want to have like not luxury, but a comfortable life, and enough money that I don't have to sort of worry too much. And now, yeah, so a few years ago, it was like, okay, I can kind of pull back a bit. I don't have to go into an office anymore. So yeah, basically, I do indulge myself a little bit with my materials. But I'm kind of looking on it as an investment as well,
Mm.
because I feel like if you're using top quality material and, hopefully it will come back and reflect in, how people feel about your work,
Mm.
and it will kind of show in the work. That's what I hope anyway.
Yeah. Well, I've been very impressed with your style. Animals and nature. So, what do you get from an animal? You said that they've got personality, character, etc. What do you get from an animal? Do you paint from them from life, or is it all from photographs? How do you work with animals? How do they
Um,
talk to you?
How do they talk to me? That's a good question. How do they talk to me? I've always been kind of obsessed with animals, and my daughter as well. Like she was the kind of kid who would fall out of her buggy trying to look at a dog. And
Oh.
I've noticed that some kids just aren't that tuned in, others just really are. And so, yeah, me and my daughter are both obsessed with animals. So I've done a lot of looking at animals and a lot of drawing animals from life, but I'll be honest now, I tend to work mostly from reference, like photographic reference, not necessarily a direct copy. I'll sort of get my sources from kind of all over the place. So I do a lot of looking at nature photographers on Instagram. There's some
Mm.
amazing people out there.
Mm.
I use Shutterstock and Alamy. So for example, if I decide I want to do, for the sake of argument, a zebra, there's one behind me there. Um, I'll sort of have in my mind what I want him to be doing, and then I'll just sort of rootle about. And now I've done a lot of ponies in my life, yeah, so I can draw horses, more or less in my sleep. So actually, the zebra's in a way a bad example because I can sort of draw. I literally did, I don't know, 35 or something pony books for
Oh.
8-year-olds. So I've done a lot of ponies. So maybe the owl's a better example. They're quite hard to draw an owl from life. So yeah, I just want it to be in exactly the right position. And that owl is not it's not one owl. It's lots of different owls. I've really studied how the wings are and how the claws are and how their faces are, and sort
Mm.
of getting all the technicalities right, so making sure you've got the right number of feathers in and the right number of layers of feathers and the
Oh my
yeah. So
God. I
I
didn't
know, so
realize it was that detailed. You're
well, it
counting
sort of
feathers.
is. I sort of want them to be the kind of thing that you could
Accurate.
look at if somebody who knew about owls and go, "Oh yeah, that owl's right,"
Yeah.
Although to be honest, does play second fiddle to trying to make an image that I think is lovely. That's the
Yes.
main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing, though, to go into that amount of detail with an animal, because I know that most people will just do a load of fur or feathers. They don't really think about they know there's anatomy underneath, but with some creatures, it's hidden by that coating of the outer layer, isn't it? So that's marvelous, and that must add to the quality of your work then, because it's very was it draws you in. It draws you in because you want
Oh,
to get
thank
closer
you.
to look
Yeah.
at it. So tell us about the exhibition then. What attracted you to doing this exhibition, Spirit Animals in the Bible? What
Well,
what was it?
I was approached by Jan and Jane, and also I work closely with a lady called Lucy, who I used to run the Francis Isles. Well, she still
Oh
does run the
yes,
Francis Isles Gallery in
yes.
Rochester, but it's not a bricks and mortar gallery anymore.
Mm.
But she's represented me for a few years now, and she just mentioned, oh, it'd be a really nice thing to do this. So
Mm.
Jane and Jan gave me a list of animals in the Bible, of which some had already been taken. And I think I had the swallow and the fox to choose from. And I've always had I
Mm.
haven't got the fox here. He's still actually with Jan, I think, at the moment. But I've always had a real even though foxes, I know foxes have their downsides, and they have chewed my Wellingtons and they have pooed in my shoes and all sorts of things, when you leave them outside.
Mm,
But I can't help but love foxes, and I think it's because they're underdogs. They always look, how do they manage, living
mm,
with us? And you see them sort of running down the street, and you see really sad ones, but when you see a lovely, healthy, fluffy one, it's like, oh, you're
mm.
so gorgeous. I love
Yeah,
foxes. And they've
so
just got that kind of, I suppose they've got a lot of history, with Aesop's fables. They've got this reputation for
yeah,
being cunning, and they've got a reputation for being a bit sort of savage. People who've got chickens tell me that they'll just kill the chickens
yeah,
without even eating them. They just do it for, I don't know, recreation or whatever. So they've sort of got an interesting mix of reputation. But
mm,
also, they just look beautiful, the color of them and the shape of them. And yeah, they're sort of out at night, and I do like doing a night scene. So yeah, I was really pleased to have chosen the fox and to have done this image. And then I put writing around the outside. You can see that the owl
yeah.
behind me's got some writing, which was like a folk song, which I knew from my childhood for some reason. And so that was something that came out of it that I hadn't ever done before. So it felt like a really, really positive thing. I couldn't, unfortunately, make the exhibition, so I didn't see
Mm,
it, but I was sent some photographs and it did look amazing.
yeah.
And the church looks so beautiful. It's obviously such an incredible setting. So yeah, I hope it went well.
Mm.
I heard that it did, but I didn't get to go there.
Yeah, yeah, it was a shame because I believe you're further away. Yeah, the setting is very, very empty, if you like, but it's full of texture with the walls and some of the leftover architecture,
Mm,
little facets and innocks and things, and nooks and crannies, and the
mm,
window. There's a window at each end, which really gives it lots of light.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and it's just the right space. It wasn't too big and not too small,
mm,
and it was very bright and light. I was surprised that the pews weren't dark wood. I was expecting in my mind, when I was told there were still pews there, that there would be really dark, heavy wood,
mm.
which would go well with the gold. But when I went in there and I saw it was all this light, sort of oatmeal colour,
Mm.
absolutely gorgeous and stunning for
Yeah,
the artwork. And
yeah.
yeah, it was lovely, very well received. So well done. Thank you for entering. It's lovely to have your contribution.
It
And
was a
Foxy,
pleasure. I was honoured. Yeah.
yeah. So do you have a preference for certain types of animals? You mentioned horses, which obviously was your job. But fox is wildlife, isn't it? It's normal English wildlife. Do you have any preference? Because you also mentioned a zebra.
Yes. Well, I am really passionate about birds. I just love birds. And they really tug at my heartstrings. I don't know why.
Right.
I love birds. To be honest, I'm really happy to draw everything from an Amazonian parakeet through to a sparrow. I love any birds. And then after that, yeah, I like mammals as well, but I tend to do less of them. I don't know why. I just adore birds. I particularly adore birds that are, I love kind of, I don't know what the actual biological name for them is, but the group of birds that includes things like herons and ibis and egrets, sort of
Mm,
long-legged, what I call supermodel birds. They're
yeah.
really elegant with kind of curvy necks and long beaks, and I
Mm.
suppose the other thing I'd say is that I try and avoid cute at all costs. I try not to make things look too cute, well, hopefully not cute at all. I
Yeah,
try and give the animals dignity.
that's the word.
Um, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's a good word. Mm.
yeah. But apart from that,
I,
honestly, oh, and I'm not mad on drawing fluffy animals. That's the other.
I
I prefer smooth animals.
well, I was thinking of that with the owl because quite often it's the neckline with an owl, isn't it? Getting the difference between the head and the body, the shoulders. Um,
Yes.
but I can understand that. So there's a certain amount of grace in your paintings, and the composition is very sympathetic to the animal, and
Mm.
seems to be in its right environment. So where do you normally exhibit? What sort of environments do you like to find yourself in?
Well, I kind of try not to get very involved in that, if I'm honest. But the first time I ever exhibited was, I think it was at the Surrey Art Show. Art Surrey, I think it's called. Anyway, it was at Sandown Racecourse. And I'd never shown my work before, so it's a bit nerve-wracking. And also, it's an artist-led fair. You're there, kind of standing in front of your work, trying not to look needy, but at the same time trying to look welcoming. um, and nearly everybody walks past without a second glance, but occasionally, 1 in 50 will stop and have a chat, perhaps. And then if you're really lucky, somebody will buy something. So on that particular occasion, I think I sold quite a lot of work. And I met Lucy of the Francis Arles Gallery. So it ended up being an incredibly positive experience for me. And also chatting to the other artists at the show, chatting to just people. It was just really, really nice to be out there. But it's a massive time commitment and it's very kind of exhausting. And my priority is always to try and be at my desk painting. So when Lucy took over, I was basically, hooray, go for it, Lucy, you exhibit wherever you think. So she initially had the bricks and mortar gallery, and then she did a lot of fresh art fairs. So that ended up being in Cheltenham and Alexandra Palace in North London and various other venues. And she's just been amazing. She's so good at engaging with people, and she's brilliant. She's transformed what I do, really, because she takes the selling off me and she does it. And then more recently I've started working with a gallery called Imagine in Long Melford in Suffolk. So I'm contributing some stuff. It's a lovely gallery in a beautiful old sort of half timbered building, and John, the guy who runs the gallery, his taste is kind of like my taste. I love the art that he has in there. So it's nice to be there as well. But then very excitingly, I'm doing the Art Fair East because I live in Norwich, which is in the Assembly House, which is a lovely old Georgian building. And me and a friend who does kind of similar stuff to me, but she does ceramics. So she's 3D and I'm 2D. She's called Danusia Worm. Anyway, so we're doing that at the beginning of November. So it's kind of back to where I started, doing another artist-led fair, which I'm sort of half looking forward to and half dreading, if I'm honest. But it'll be good. I'm sure it'll be good. Even if I don't sell anything, I'll enjoy the experience, I think.
I think that's the way to look at it. I think if you're honestly hoping to make a living and sell, it takes the edge off the creativity. But it's definitely good to be amongst other artists and to get feedback from the public. But I do think having someone like Lucy as an in-between, because there aren't many people that can do that, it's much easier to have some kind of agency or position in a gallery.
Yes,
it's much better. But I think Lucy's quite particular about how many artists she works with and who she works with, and I think that's to your benefit, isn't it?
Yeah, because again, I think all the artists that she works with, you feel like you're just with a level of quality and talent, and that sort of, I don't know, it just feels like it sets off your work if you're sitting with other work that's good, even if it's complete, very different. Actually, a lot of what Lucy does isn't wildly, isn't sort of hyper modern. I can see that my work fits in with the other artists that she represents. So she's doing a show in Canterbury in the Beanie. I don't know it because I don't know Kent very well, but it's apparently the sort of art centre and museum in Canterbury.
I didn't know that.
yeah. Anyway, it looks amazing. I've looked at it online, and myself and I think Kit Boyd, who's a printmaker.
Yeah, I know Kit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know Kit.
But he did a stalk.
Contributed to the exhibition.
Beautiful stalk. Yes, I saw it. It's lovely. And another artist called Jade Taylor, who does very beautiful, delicate animal sort of paint print combos. And Mark Munro, who does kind of photographic tree. Anyway, there's four of us.
Trees, doesn't he?
Yes, exactly. So the four of us, I believe, are going to be in the Beanie
Mm.
for a couple of months in sort
Mm.
of autumn, winter, and Lucy's arranging that. And it's an exhibition called Divine Nature. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's another
I'd
nice
like to
place
go
to
and
be
see
seen.
that. Do you do any water scenes or any fish or seals?
I
There's abundance of
um
seals up there.
there are plenty of seals. Yes, yes, I've got a seal painting that's going to be at the Beanie, and also some northern gannets sort of diving into water chasing fish. So that's two
Mm.
sea ones. In
Mm.
fact, I'm very fond of northern gannets generally. I love a northern gannet, with their sort of
Yeah.
blue eyes, and they're so like exocet missiles shooting down into the water. I just think they're brilliant. And I've done some koi fish, but they're not
Okay.
really, they're not
Mm.
really what you'd call wild fish or anything, obviously, but they're
Mm.
very decorative.
What's your plans for yourself then, artistically? What would you like to do? We'll finish on what would you like next for yourself?
That's a good question. What do I want
Have you thought
next?
of it?
I slightly live in the moment, just painting the next painting that comes to me, and I'm always very happy if I've got a few ideas kind of lined up. And funnily enough, I spent yesterday lining up some ideas, and sort of thinking about the animals that I want to do next and stuff. Um, I want to focus a little bit on UK animals because people do love a UK animal, and well, so do I. So I'm
You
working
do.
on a Jay. I've just finished a Jay. He's up there. Because I adore jays. I think they're beautiful, and a
Mm.
turtle dove. But broadly
Oh.
speaking, what are my plans broadly speaking? I think it's just to keep doing what I'm doing and
Mm.
hope that I improve and hope people like them enough to buy them. And I'm still completely like pumped that people are prepared to pay money for my art. It's like, oh my God, I
Oh.
still can't believe it.
It's
So
amazing. You're
yeah.
not aware of, because I suppose sometimes when you're up close to something and you see how you want it to be, and it doesn't
Mm.
always marry with that. But it is quite stunning and very unique. And there's definitely a
Oh,
style that you have that's recognizable. And yeah, you have that ability to create this beautiful art that people do want. And I'd want more for you. That would be lovely.
oh. Yeah, well yeah, I guess I just want to carry on doing what I'm doing
Yes.
and carry on enjoying it. That is the
Yes.
main thing. If you love doing it.
How does the audience, how does everybody there who's watching this now find you? What's the best way for them to contact you? Should they want to find out where you're exhibiting or how they might purchase something?
Well, I have a pretty up-to-date website, which is www.jennifer-miles.com. Or a lot of my work is on the Francis Isles website or the Imagine Gallery website. So yeah, and I'm on Instagram as well, at Jennifer Miles Art.
What I'll do, Jennifer, is I'll put all this information in the comments when I post and also in
Thank
the
you.
bio for the video. And so yeah, we wish you well. So if anybody
Thank
would like to
you.
contact Jennifer, please do give her a look up. She's Francis Isles is a very nice gallery online, and you can go straight to her website. So all the information is set out below. And thank you very much, then, Jennifer. It's Jennifer Miles, and if you'd like to contact her, as I said, everything's underneath. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for talking with us today. It's intriguing and a lovely display of your art there. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to talk to you.
Right, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.